Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. You know, I've been spending most of my time trying to gear the conscience of people in the direction that would allow them to stand up for freedom, to stand up for peace, to stand up for prosperity, to stand up for joy in their lives. But there have been a lot of things that's happening that seems to be easier to deal with. And just today, this morning in fact, I heard on the news that a young man in one of these neighboring cities here in Minnesota is walking down the street with a gun in his hand. Now, to see a man walk down the street with a gun in his hand, I'm sure can incite a lot of fears. And the people who witnessed this called the police. I understand that the police came and saw the guy and demanded that he put his weapon down. The man didn't, and the police shot him several times in the chest. Now, I was thinking about waiting to get more information so I could address this and perhaps give you more details. But the reality of the thing is that it's not so much information that I need, or even the gentleman's name or the city in which this incident occurred. The fact is that I heard nobody say that the man was causing any danger or threatening anyone. I heard no one say that the man took the gun and leveled it at the police officers. All I hear is that he was ordered to put the gun down and didn't. And today I also heard later on in the day from some of the people that knew him, and they said he was a nice, kind guy who was involved in some training program and in fact was scheduled to graduate today. Young man, 20 years old. And I'm beginning to think about possibilities that this man could have been going through some financial situations and perhaps was taking that gun to the pawn shop, not having a vehicle to travel in, taking the gun to the pawn shop to trade it in for some cash that he could use to help in his graduation plans. Now, that might not be true, but it's a thought that crossed my mind. And that being the case, if it were, he was killed because he did not obey a police officer. And the thing that upsetted me the most of that is that not too long ago, in fact, I'm scheduled to go to court on the 15th of this month, June, where I came home one night, and as I turned into my driveway, a policeman turned his lights on and parked halfway in my driveway. And as I was getting out the car, he commanded that I get back in my car. Now, I just don't feel that you got that kind of authority over me to come and tell and demand that I get back in my car and sit down. Not only that, when my wife saw the light and came to the door, he commanded that she go back in the house and close the door. Now, as I said, I told her not to go back in the house. This was our property. At least we claim it. And I wasn't sitting back in the car. And I asked him what he wanted. He came to me and asked me how much I'd been drinking. Now, I don't drink. So I asked him, why did he stop me? And this is what he told me. He said he stopped me because I had a light out. All of this frustration, the most he could do to me in a justifiable situation is to inform me that my light was out. And if he wanted to follow up with that to make sure that I fixed the light, he could have issued a warning, a written warning, where if I had been stopped again with that same light out, there would have been an indication that I had just disregarded. And maybe they wanted to challenge me with a fine or a penalty. But he was ready. I mean, he was upset